A red portal rips open New York's sky. Doomsday crashes down in fire and lightning. The Avengers unite on a shield helipad, weapons glowing. Iron Man blasts, Thor strikes, Hulk smashes, Doomsday barely flinches. Strange opens the mirror dimension. Doomsday breaks through. Portals open. Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man and the Guardians join the fight. The battlefield explodes with chaos. Thor and Strange open a vortex. Iron Man overloads, Hulk lands the final punch. Doomsday is gone. The Avengers stand but far away. The night sky above New York City trembles as an unnatural storm gathers, thick clouds swirling with an ominous red glow. Suddenly, a massive crimson energy portal rips open, its chaotic lightning crackling like the wrath of an angry god. The sheer force of its presence disrupts the air, sending powerful gusts of wind through the city, shattering glass, toppling streetlights, and setting off countless car alarms. Pedestrians freeze, their eyes wide with terror as they witness something beyond comprehension. A swirling abyss in the heavens, pulsing like a living wound in reality. From the heart of the storm, a monstrous figure emerges, silhouetted against the blood-red light. His form is massive, grotesquely muscled and covered in bone-like protrusions, jagged spikes lining his body like the armor of an ancient warlord. His crimson eyes glow with unholy fury as he plummets toward the earth like a falling meteor. His presence an embodiment of pure, unstoppable destruction. As he descends, the air ignites around him, creating a trail of fire and energy, a harbinger of the devastation to come. Then, with a force akin to an extinction-level event, boom! He collides with the streets of Manhattan, sending a cataclysmic shockwave in all directions. The very ground splits apart, massive cracks snaking through the asphalt, as entire blocks of concrete are ripped apart by the sheer force of his impact. Cars are flung into the air like toys, some exploding in mid-air as they collide with nearby buildings. Skyscrapers groan and tremble, their glass windows bursting into a deadly rain of shards, slicing through anything in their path. A blinding wave of dust and debris engulfs the area, drowning the streets in chaos as terrified citizens scream and flee. The shockwave alone is so powerful that it sends bodies flying, people tumbling across the asphalt like ragdolls, their ears ringing from the deafening explosion. As the dust begins to settle, a monstrous growl reverberates through the destruction, deep and guttural, like a beast awakened from the depths of hell. From the center of the devastation, Doomsday rises, his enormous form unfazed by the carnage he has unleashed. His cracked, grayish skin pulsates with energy, and the jagged bone spikes on his shoulders and fists grow even sharper, absorbing the damage, adapting, evolving. He takes a slow, deliberate step forward, his mere movement shaking the ground beneath him, sending fresh tremors through the ruined streets. Then, with a mighty roar that shatters windows for miles, he launches himself forward, his fists swinging with unimaginable force. A single punch from the monster obliterates an entire building, sending debris raining down like meteors. Panic spreads like wildfire as sirens wail in every direction, police and emergency responders struggling to navigate the destruction. Helicopters rise into the sky, attempting to assess the threat. But in one swift motion, Doomsday leaps high into the air, snatching a news chopper from the sky with his monstrous hands. The rotors screech as metal is twisted and torn apart, the helpless pilot and crew screaming before the beast hurls the wreckage straight into a distant skyscraper. The building erupts in flames, tilting dangerously as its entire structure begins to collapse. The entire city trembles under his wrath, the destruction unlike anything seen before. Doomsday does not stop. He cannot stop. He was created for one purpose: annihilation. As he marches forward, every step a declaration of extinction, the world watches in horror. The monster that once killed Superman has arrived in their universe, and if Earth's mightiest heroes don't intervene soon, there may not be an Earth left to save. Deep within the fortified halls of S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, the air is thick with urgency, as red emergency lights flash violently, illuminating the dark command center in pulses of crimson. The war room's holographic screens flicker to life, each displaying terrifying live footage of New York's devastation. Skyscrapers are crumbling like sandcastles, fire and smoke choke the air, and a monstrous figure looms amidst the wreckage, its jagged bone protrusions glistening under the glow of destruction. Alarms blare as SHIELD agents scramble to analyze the incoming data, their voices frantic. Maria Hill turns sharply to the main console, issuing a priority distress signal. Avengers, we have a situation. Across the globe, the call is received. Inside Stark Tower, Tony Stark's AI, Friday, interrupts his research, flashing the red alert across his screens. His usual smug demeanor vanishes as his eyes scan the live feed, a cold realization settling over him. He pulls up biometric readings. They are off the charts, unlike anything he's ever seen. A deep frown etches onto his face as he murmurs, "This isn't just another alien invasion. This thing, it's from another universe, and it killed Superman." At the Avengers compound, Captain America is already suiting up, securing his shield to his back. His sharp blue eyes lock onto the screen displaying the devastation. Then we don't have a second to lose. Inside the mystical sanctum of Doctor Strange, arcane runes swirl as a golden portal materializes. Strange steps forward, his cloak billowing around him as he examines the scene through his magical vision. The energies radiating from the monster feel ancient, unstoppable, and worst of all, unfamiliar. He clenches his fists, whispering an incantation under his breath, preparing for the battle ahead. In the fiery depths of Asgard's remnants, the god of thunder senses the shift in the cosmos. Mjolnir hums with electricity in his grip as he gazes toward Earth, where the skies tremble with impending war. Thunder rumbles around him as he utters, "Then it shall know the wrath of a god." With a mighty swing, he vanishes in a crackling bolt of lightning, descending toward battle. At a remote Gamma research facility, Bruce Banner's hands tremble as he watches the destruction unfold. He exhales sharply, his pupils dilating into a deep green as the monster within him stirs. The ground beneath him shakes as his bones shift, his muscles expand, and in an instant, Hulk emerges, his growl echoing across the empty landscape before he leaps into the sky, heading straight for the battlefield. Meanwhile, in the shadows of an underground SHIELD base, Natasha Romanoff locks and loads her twin pistols, strapping on her gear with calculated precision. She knows bullets won't do much, but she also knows where she needed most, rescuing the civilians trapped in the monster wake. As the Avengers rendezvous in the skies over Manhattan, the air crackles with tension. Iron Man's suit powers up, his arc reactor glowing ominously as his repulsors charge. Thor lands with a thunderous impact, lightning coiling around him. Hulk smashes down next to him, his massive fists clenched, eyes locked on their foe. Doctor Strange levitates above them, ancient spells flickering at his fingertips. Black Widow emerges from the wreckage, assisting survivors while preparing for battle. Captain America steps forward, adjusting his grip on his shield, his stance firm. They have faced gods. They have faced armies. But what stands before them is unlike anything they have ever encountered. For a moment there is silence. Then, with a single nod from Captain America, the words that have led them through countless wars echo once more. Avengers, assemble. And with that, they charge toward Doomsday. The battle for Earth's survival begins. The battle ignites in an explosive fury as the Avengers charge toward Doomsday, the night sky ablaze with streaks of energy and lightning. Iron Man is the first to strike, soaring high above the wreckage, his advanced HUD scanning for weaknesses. With a swift motion, he raises both hands and unleashes twin repulsor beams, their fiery glow illuminating the battlefield. The blasts strike Doomsday square in the chest. Boom! A massive shockwave erupts, sending debris flying. But as the smoke clears, a horrifying realization dawns upon Stark. Doomsday stands completely unscathed. Not only has he absorbed the energy, but his muscular form pulses and expands, his jagged bone protrusions growing even sharper. "Oh great," Tony mutters. "He eats energy, that's just fantastic." Before he can react, Doomsday moves fast. Like a living battering ram, the monster lunges toward Iron Man, swiping at him with brutal force. Stark barely dodges, twisting mid-air, but Doomsday's claws graze his armor, carving deep gashes into the nanotech plating. Below, Hulk watches, his rage boiling over. His massive fists clench, his muscles tense, and then he charges. The ground beneath him cracks and craters as he leaps with earth-shaking force, his furious roar echoing across the battlefield. Boom! Hulk's fist collides full force with Doomsday's jaw, the impact creating a shockwave that shatters windows for blocks. The sheer force sends tremors through the streets, toppling wrecked cars. But Doomsday barely moves. His head snaps back for a split second. Then he turns, his glowing red eyes locking onto Hulk. A deep, guttural growl rumbles from his chest. Hulk blinks. Hulk! Smash! Doomsday answers with a devastating punch. The blow lands directly on Hulk's sternum. Wham! The Gamma-powered Titan is launched backward like a missile, smashing through a dozen buildings before finally crashing into the rubble, unmoving. Thor's eyes narrow. From above, he watches the carnage, fury crackling in his gaze. Spinning Mjolnir at blinding speed, he summons a massive storm, the clouds above swirling into a vortex of raw power. Lightning dances in the sky, converging onto his hammer, illuminating the battlefield in an electrifying glow. With a deafening battle cry, Thor hurls Mjolnir with all his might. Crack-kaboom! Mjolnir smashes into Doomsday's skull, sending lightning arcing through his body. The beast finally staggers, a snarl escaping his lips. Thor wastes no time. He soars down, grabs his hammer mid-air, and swings it with godly force, striking Doomsday again and again, each hit causing thunderous shockwaves to ripple through the battlefield. But then, it happens. Doomsday's wounds begin to close instantly. The energy he absorbed fuels his regeneration, and his bones begin to shift and mutate, adapting against the attack. With a feral snarl, Doomsday suddenly lunges forward, grabs Thor by the throat, and with terrifying strength, hurls him through an entire skyscraper. The building collapses as Thor disappears into the wreckage. Doctor Strange knows they can't win like this. Hovering above the battlefield, his hands weave intricate golden runes, his eyes glowing with ancient power. He conjures a portal, a swirling gateway into the mirror dimension. Enough, Strange mutters, his voice steady. Reality itself distorts as the battlefield shifts. Buildings stretch, the sky ripples, and space bends around Doomsday. Strange gestures with precision, attempting to trap the beast in a separate plane of existence. But Doomsday punches through reality itself. With an ear-splitting roar, the monster smashes his fists into the fabric of space, shattering the mirror dimension like fractured glass. The shockwave sends Strange tumbling back, his mind momentarily overwhelmed by the sheer impossibility of what just happened. Meanwhile, Captain America and Black Widow work tirelessly among the chaos. Civilians scream, trapped under debris, their voices drowned out by the sounds of battle. Cap moves with precision, shielding innocent lives from falling wreckage, using his strength to pull survivors from the rubble. Black Widow dodges falling structures, her agility allowing her to navigate through the crumbling battlefield as she helps people escape the destruction. Above them, Doomsday roars once more. The Avengers' greatest battle has only just begun. The battlefield is a war zone, skyscrapers reduced to rubble, fires raging uncontrollably, and the air thick with smoke and dust. The Avengers stand bruised and battered, their strongest attacks barely slowing Doomsday down. Iron Man's suit is heavily damaged, his repulsors flickering. Hulk coughs up blood, something that almost never happens. Thor grips Mjolnir tightly, his breathing ragged, his divine strength unable to keep the monster down. Doctor Strange hovers above, watching as Doomsday regenerates faster than they can hurt him. They need a new plan. "We can't beat him like this," Strange announces, urgency in his voice. "We need more firepower." Tony clenches his fists, his mind racing. Then it's time to bring in the big guns. Strange's hands move in a blur, golden sigils swirling as he conjures massive interdimensional portals, each one glowing with radiant energy. They open across the sky, forming gateways to Earth's strongest allies. Beyond one portal, the golden towers of Wakanda shimmer under the sun. Inside the royal palace, King T'Challa, Black Panther, stands atop the great mound, overseeing his warriors. The portal's energy surges across the room and he turns sharply. Okoye steps forward. "This looks bad." T'Challa narrows his gaze at the battle raging beyond the portal. The Avengers need him. With a swift motion, he activates his vibranium suit, the purple energy pulsing through his body. Wakanda forever. In an instant, he leaps through the portal, landing on the battlefield with feline grace, followed by Wakandan warships, their sonic blasters primed and ready. Another portal swirls open to New Asgard, where the Asgardian warriors sharpen their blades under the gaze of Valkyrie. At the center stands Lady Sif, her sword gleaming under the celestial glow. When the call reaches them, they do not hesitate. Lightning flashes, and Heimdall's successor, Scourge, steps forward. To battle, Valkyrie roars, and the warriors of Asgard charge through the portal, their blades shining with divine power as they join the fray. Above the Nova Corps headquarters on Xandar, another portal shimmers into existence. The Guardians of the Galaxy, mid-mission, pause as they witness the destruction on Earth. Oh hell no. Rocket Raccoon adjusts his blaster. That thing is going to need a whole lot of firepower. Star-Lord slides on his helmet. All right, Guardians, let's save the freaking day. The Milano rockets through the portal, followed by Nova Corps ships. Gamora, Drax, Mantis, and Groot leap from the ship, ready to fight. From the ruins of a nearby cityscape, a red glow flares to life. Scarlet Witch hovers into the air, her eyes burning with chaos magic. Beside her, Spider-Man swings through the collapsing skyscrapers, his suit enhanced with nanotech from Stark. From deep space, a golden comet streaks across the void. Captain Marvel arrives, her body pulsating with cosmic energy. She lands with an impact that craters the Earth beneath her, standing beside the battered Avengers. Doomsday pauses for the first time, his glowing red eyes scanning the overwhelming number of new challengers. Iron Man smirks, despite the blood trickling from his lip. Okay, big guy, now it's a fair fight. With a deafening battle cry, the reinforcements charge, and the real war begins. The battle erupts into pure chaos. Scarlet Witch hovers above the battlefield, her hands glowing with searing red energy as she weaves intricate spells. She grits her teeth, focusing all her power, her mind bending reality itself to trap Doomsday in an illusion. A world where he is powerless, locked away in endless darkness. But as soon as the illusion forms, Doomsday's eyes blaze with fury. He lets out a deafening roar, and the sheer force of his will shatters her spell like glass. A shockwave bursts outward, sending Scarlet Witch spiraling through the air, crashing into the ruins of a collapsed skyscraper. On the ground, Black Panther dashes forward with feline precision, his vibranium claws slashing in a blur. He dodges Doomsday's enormous fists with ease, his instincts razor-sharp. Spider-Man joins him, webbing across the battlefield, moving too fast for Doomsday to react. Come on, big guy, you ever heard of cardio? Peter quips as he slings a web toward Doomsday's face, blinding him for a brief second. But a second is all he gets. Doomsday rips through the webbing effortlessly, his hand shooting out like a missile. Wham! The impact sends Spider-Man hurtling across the battlefield, his body smashing through a Wakandan warship before tumbling lifelessly onto the pavement. Black Panther, enraged, leaps high, his claws glowing with vibranium energy, slashing at Doomsday's neck with all his strength. Sparks fly, but Doomsday doesn't even flinch. With a single monstrous backhand, he swats T'Challa away, sending him flying into a wrecked Quinjet. Above, Captain Marvel streaks across the battlefield like a golden comet, her body burning with cosmic energy. She clenches her fists, eyes glowing white-hot, and unleashes a massive photon blast. The explosion engulfs Doomsday, the heat so intense it melts the very concrete beneath him. As the flames clear, Doomsday is actually forced back, stumbling for the first time. Carol doesn't let up. She rockets forward, fists crackling with energy, landing blow after blow, each strike sending shockwaves through the battlefield. For a moment, it looks like it's working. Then Doomsday adapts. His body absorbs the cosmic energy, his muscles mutating, bones shifting. His already indestructible skin hardens even further, his speed increasing to match Carol's. Before she can react, Doomsday moves with blinding speed, dodging her next attack and slamming his fist into her stomach. Boom! The impact sends a shockwave through the air. Captain Marvel is launched into the sky like a shooting star, vanishing beyond the atmosphere. The remaining Avengers watch in horror. Their strongest heroes are falling one by one. Doomsday stands in the center of the battlefield. Unscathed, stronger than ever, his glowing red eyes locked onto his next victims. For the first time, the Avengers realize they are losing. The battlefield is drenched in destruction, the earth cracked and burning, the Avengers barely standing. Doomsday towers over them, stronger than ever, his every adaptation making him even more unstoppable. Iron Man's suit flickers with damage. Captain America struggles to rise. Black Panther and Spider-Man groan in pain. And Scarlet Witch clutches her head, drained from overuse of her power. They can't win. Not like this. Doctor Strange, blood dripping from a wound on his forehead, pushes himself up. "We don't need to kill him," he mutters, his mind racing. "We just need to send him somewhere he can't return from." His hands move instinctively, golden sparks swirling as he conjures a massive multiversal vortex, a portal to a universe long dead, a void of endless nothingness. Thor, gripping Mjolnir and Stormbreaker in each hand, staggers to Strange's side. He understands immediately. "I will summon the power of the Bifrost. Together, we shall open the gates of oblivion." Lightning surges through the sky, crackling into Strange's portal, expanding it into a swirling abyss of pure cosmic energy. The vortex pulls at the battlefield, dragging debris, flames, and even Doomsday himself toward its infinite darkness. Doomsday roars, resisting the pull, clawing into the ground, refusing to be banished. The Avengers need more power, something to force him in. Iron Man stares at the reactor in his chest, its arc energy pulsing weakly. He knows what he has to do. With shaking hands, he overrides the failsafe on his suit. His repulsors and unibeam charge with everything left in his core. Friday, full power. "Tony, no!" Cap tries to protest, but it's too late. Iron Man rockets forward, colliding with Doomsday with a blinding explosion of energy. The impact is so powerful that Doomsday actually stumbles back, his body finally forced toward the portal. But it's not enough. Doomsday digs his claws into the earth, his rage keeping him anchored. Hulk, badly beaten, one eye swollen shut, sees his moment. With a deafening roar, he launches himself forward, his fist glowing green with every ounce of rage left in his body. Hulk! Smash! His punch connects with Doomsday's chest like a nuclear bomb. The impact shatters the ground, sends shockwaves through the sky, and at last hurls Doomsday straight into the vortex. The monster's scream echoes through the battlefield as he vanishes into the abyss. The portal collapses with a final surge of lightning. Silence. The Avengers stand still, breathing heavily, their bodies broken but victorious. The sky clears, the air settles, and for the first time since the battle began, Doomsday is gone. Iron Man stumbles, his suit sparking, the arc reactor in his chest completely burned out. Thor drops to one knee, gripping Stormbreaker for balance. Hulk breathes heavily, his fists still clenched. Doctor Strange straightens, wiping blood from his lip. It's over. But as the dust settles, Tony Stark stares at the scorched crater where the portal once was. His voice is quiet, almost uncertain. For now. The battle is over, but the cost is unimaginable. New York is in ruins. Entire city blocks are reduced to rubble, flames flickering in the wreckage, smoke rising into the darkened sky. The once bustling streets are now a graveyard of crushed cars, shattered glass, and collapsed buildings. Sirens wail in the distance, the sounds of emergency responders racing to aid the wounded. The Avengers stand amidst the destruction, victorious but barely standing. Captain America leans on his shield, blood staining the star on his chest. Black Panther surveys the ruins with solemn eyes, his suit scratched and torn. Spider-Man, still catching his breath, mutters, "This was not a friendly neighborhood fight." Doctor Strange, drained from the immense energy used to open the multiversal vortex, struggles to steady himself. Scarlet Witch, exhausted, collapses to her knees, her hands still trembling from the raw chaos magic she unleashed. Thor exhales deeply, looking at Mjolnir, cracks forming along its once indestructible surface. Hulk, still in his monstrous form, slowly shrinks back into Bruce Banner. his body bruised and battered beyond anything he has ever felt before. And then there's Tony Stark. His suit is wrecked, sparks flickering from the joints. His arc reactor, completely depleted, dims as he pulls off his helmet, revealing a face covered in sweat and grime. He looks at the destruction around him, then at the remaining Avengers. He smirks. Let's never do that again. A moment of silence passes. Then, despite the devastation, a few of them actually chuckle. It's over. Doomsday is gone. For now. Post-credit scene. The screen fades to black. Silence. Then, a faint whisper emerges from the void. A voice, deep and ancient, filled with malice. He will return. A pair of glowing red eyes flicker in the darkness.